Welcome to the Connected Growth Coaching Podcast, where we support women to rediscover who they are so they can thrive in all parts of their lives. Your hosts, Jen Heilman and Amanda Kingsley, share with you unique life coaching resources centered around the power of the mind and the ancient practice of feng shui. All right, let's podcast it.
All right, go.
Okay, so this week's podcast, we want to talk. Today's live for those of you who are watching live. The main theme of our morning was like, what are we / you not seeing that's right in front of you, right? Like, what are you not seeing? Because we had just another one of those mornings where like click, click, ding, ding, aha,
Right.
like
So obvious. How could we not see it?
high five, holy shit, like I can't believe this is all coming
Full
together.
body chills over and over and over again. Yeah.
Jen and I have been showing up to this work for about a year together. So before that, we'd been showing up on our own many ways and places and, businesses.
Yeah, all the things. Yeah.
And so for a year, we've had a lot of failures. We've had a lot of successes. We've had a ton of growth.
Yes. Crazy
and
amounts of
we're
growth.
finding ourselves like at just about that 1 year mark, circling back to our roots, circling back to our center. And so our morning was kind of like, how did we not see this all along?
Right.
Like the obvious next step has been in front of us this whole time. So the question, and this is so much the work that we do, right, is like, what are you not seeing that's right in front of you? It's maybe in your space, in your feng shui. It's maybe in your brain and the stories you're telling yourself, the places you're getting stuck, the beliefs you're choosing to believe that you don't have to believe. But the message this morning is like, everything you want is right in your hands. Like it is at your footsteps. So how do you find it? Right? How do you get there? That's the big question. Is like,
how do you find the awareness and the clarity to see it? Right. Yeah.
And so I'll tell like what we have to say this morning is it's been about a year that we've started having this conversation together. We didn't start working together till like 9 months ago, but it's about a year where we're like, possibly, let's see.
Right.
And so what did we do in that year? What were our failures and successes? And we kept asking. We just kept asking, what's next? What's the next step? What's the next breadcrumb? What's the next step on our path? If you stop asking, you stop getting answers. And we kept asking and asking and asking and asking together and asking apart and asking in meditation and asking in journaling and asking our community and asking you.
Right.
Like
and we did, I just want to pause for 1 second. We stopped asking for a little bit and we got really lost.
We do.
Yep. And now we're back. Right. And I think that happens throughout the whole journey, right? Like as soon as you stop asking, you get lost, you get off the path, you get, diverted, and the doubt and the fear and all that stuff starts to creep in. And so, I think for the last week, we've allowed ourselves to start asking again, right? And things, of course, have become very clear.
So you have to keep asking, you have to keep looking, right? You can ask and then not look for the answer. We say this in feng shui all the time. Like people will make these big feng shui changes and then they don't notice. Like, that shift happened because I made this major change in my home.
Right.
Or that shift happened because I made this major change in my headspace, in my mindset. So first you have to ask and then you have to pay attention.
Right. I love, and that's why I take notes when people are making changes in their homes, because it is such an oversight most of the time. If you change something like Amanda just said in your home, and then a week or two later, something significant happens because of that change, they just don't see it. And so I'm pretty frequently saying, well, remember when we talked about that and you moved that thing and now it's here, and they're, oh my God, I can't believe it. You're right. You know, so yeah.
It did happen because
because I asked, right? And not celebrating or not seeing that thing show up the way you know, maybe you envisioned it a completely different way. And that's why I'm able to see it in our clients' lives, because I'm not so close to it. So when I make the comparison, it's, you know, it's obvious, but you're so close to it that you don't even see that that was a win, you know, like if it doesn't show up, you know, if the $1 million doesn't show up in the form of a lottery ticket, you know, you're not seeing it, you know, so
that your husband got a raise, or that, you know, whatever the thing is, right? That
you have these stories about how you think it's going to show up, and so you don't see it when it actually does show up.
So you have to keep asking, and you have to keep asking really good quality questions. Not why me, not what if, not is it going to be like this forever? The quality questions are, what next?
Right.
How do I see this in a different way? What more is possible?
What were my wins today?
So you have to keep asking really quality questions, and then keep looking for the answers. Listen for the answers. If you ask, like, what more is possible, and then you run into an old colleague at the grocery store, like, pay attention, right? What more is possible? Like,
what's the message here?
I just bumped into so-and-so who I haven't seen forever, and they're on this amazing new path. Like, maybe I'm supposed to notice something.
Right. You're supposed to connect with them, and it's supposed to lead to something else. Yeah, absolutely.
So ask the questions, pay attention, keep showing up. Like, we keep showing up. Here we are. Here we are. I mean, literally this morning we're like, what are we going to podcast about? I don't know. We're going to show up, and we're just going to talk about what's on our heart. We're going to talk about what feels present. We're going to talk about what we're learning, because that's what we do. That's what we will always do for you. Like, we don't show up at Connected Growth Coaching because we have all the answers. We show up because we figured a lot of stuff out, and we're going to share it with you. And we're going through a lot of it, you know, ourselves. And we always will be. And that's,
but I think a lot of the coaching that we do is that is the awareness that we're able to bring in that present moment, right? Is that, and a lot of what we teach our clients is being in touch with that intuition and that intuitive knowledge, and being conduits of you know, a higher power, essentially, without getting totally woo, you know, of being able to channel what needs to be said. So like when we are working with our clients, it's not that we have this, you know, endless supply of knowledge. It's that we're able to tap into something, a higher power, if you will, or an energy that comes through us that allows us to say, hey, this is what you need to hear right now. You know,
this literally just happened to me. I can't remember which client I was, but this happens all the time, where I was like, why did I just say that? And then they're like, I can't believe you just said that. Here's what's going on for me. And I'm like, that's why I said it.
I know. It's in a process, you know, in doing this whole coaching thing.
We ask for support, just so that we can support you. But if we're not paying attention, if we're not listening to what we're hearing and then sharing it with you, then you're not going to grow. And we're not going to grow. And God, spirit, universe, powers that be are like, I keep giving you the answer. You're not listening. So you got to keep asking. You got to keep listening. You got to keep looking. You got to keep showing up. Like, we show up to do this with you because we're doing it ourselves. And we know that if you do what we teach, your lives are going to change.
Absolutely.
Like, we have zero doubt in that. That's a pretty much 100% guarantee. If you do what we've learned works and we practice ourselves, your lives are going to change. So we keep showing up and we keep believing. And that's sort of that higher power thing. That's like, we just believe that the answers are going to come. We don't know where from. We quite frankly don't really care.
Well, that's the trust, right? Is that you know that it's going to come through when you need it to come through, right?
And so maybe it is that person you bump into at the grocery store. Maybe it is like a message from God. Maybe it is your partner comes home and tells you some amazing news, but like, we don't care who gives us the information. Like when we get a hit about, or like a hit, right?
I know, it's like
when we get like a download of information to share with you, we don't ask where it came from.
Right.
We're not like, did you come from God or did you come from universe? Because I don't
I love that you're looking up at the sky right now. For all of our podcast listeners, Amanda is like in prayer position, looking up at the sky. I love that.
Seriously. We're not like, well, we can't share with our audience unless we know where this information came from. We're just like, yep, that was information we heard, we're listening, we're regurgitating.
Right, exactly.
Right? Like, we are sharing what comes through us to you. And so much of the time, like the answers are right here. They're right in front of us. And that's the whole point, is like, this morning we had all this realization about our next step with Connected Growth Coaching. And so much of what we heard today has probably been given to us
multiple times,
like 17 other ways.
Exactly.
It's like,
but we were ignoring it.
We weren't ready to hear it. We weren't ready to process. So we just kept showing up until the same answer that's been there all along made sense.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And that's how feng shui is too. I know for me, it's like, I'll like shui a section of my house and be like, that's perfect, exactly how it is. And then I grow and evolve and change.
Right.
And I see it totally differently. I'm like, time to do some more
shui. Change it again. I know. I love that. Yeah.
Right? Because
absolutely,
we keep showing up to it. We keep asking, we keep listening, and the answers are always changing.
Right.
They're going to be changing for the rest of our lives. So even though it's been in front of us the whole time, we didn't see it the same way.
Exactly.
We were ready to see it this morning.
Right. Yeah, the growth, because you're evolving, right? You of course, you're not going to see it the same way you would have seen it a year ago, right? Because we're evolving and we're changing and, we're progressing. Yeah.
So that's really our question to you, is like, what have you been looking at every single day? Every time you go to work, every time you wake up with your kids, like, how can you see it a different way? And that is the work that we do. We help you see it a different way, but you can also keep showing up, and that can click for you on your own. Like, keep showing up, keep asking, keep looking for what's right in front of you, because the answers are there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's so frustrating. Like I talked to, I think it was on the last podcast, about how crappy February was for me. I was like,
it was a rough one.
If I had just bailed on everything, I wouldn't have had March. And so far, 1 week into March, I'm like, dude, March.
Yeah.
March is where it's at.
Yes. We love March. Especially in New England. We're like, it's March.
Just because I had a crappy February didn't mean I stopped asking, stopped listening, stopped looking, stopped believing, right? I could do both those things at the same time. I could say to myself, like, February, not my favorite month. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to keep seeing. I'm going to keep believing. And then clarity comes through, right?
Exactly.
So what in your life are you walking away from before you should be?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. What do you, I keep hearing this story from this morning. It's a feng shui thing for me. And in my, a lot of my house, we have not put up a tremendous amount of artwork in our space. And so it's like claiming that, the story kind of came up to this morning as I was literally brushing my teeth in my bathroom and looked around the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, I still have not put up any artwork in this bathroom. And, what am I doing? I'm not like showing up in a way, that I really want to be, right? Like in order to become the person that I want to become, I have to show up in a certain way, and my space is, I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but like, I'm not like expressing myself in my home, in this like room that I spend a hell of a lot of time in, my bathroom, the one and only bathroom, right? And
but now you're ready.
Yeah.
Like you weren't ready to put the artwork up 6 months ago or 2 years ago. Now you're ready.
And I didn't even know what to put up, right? And now I'm like, oh, I know what to put up. I'm going to go find it and I'm going to put it up there. Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Versus just, it's going to change that space like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We teach all of our clients, like, this is a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Connected growth, and everything we teach it, all the resources, all the tools, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. You show up to it every single day, and every single day you grow a little bit, you expand a little bit, you connect to yourself, you connect to others. But it's not like there's any massive changes, like things that were there all along. We were telling a story this morning about some relatives of mine, and they moved away. They moved down south a few years back. And I remember saying, like, you're going to go there looking for something. Right. If you can't find it here, chances are you're going to end up back in the same pattern there. Like, I just wrote this down. I wrote, if you can't find it here, you're not going to find it anywhere. Now, this goes for geography. This goes for our mindset. This goes for, like, our space. Mm-hmm. If you can't find what you're looking for right where you are, you're not going to find it somewhere else. Right. And if you can find it here, if you can access that feeling of joy here, even though it feels like everything's falling apart, here, even though your space isn't renovated the way you want it to be, if you can find that now here where you are right in front of you, you can find it anywhere. Mm-hmm. You can go anywhere and feel that joy. Anything can happen to you. Worst case scenario, and you can still find that joy. So this work is all about accessing and tapping into what's right there, right in front of you, and using that and learning how to see it differently, right? Mm-hmm. Right. It took us a year to circle back around to this new revelation we had this morning, but we've been with it the whole time. Mm-hmm. And we just weren't willing to give up. And it won't be our last revelation. Right.
Absolutely not.
We'll probably have another one next week.
I know, right? We're pretty, that's just who we are. But yeah, I love that it's, it comes back around. And it goes with this whole, like, going out into the world, and thinking that you're going to find it out in the world. Yeah. And really what you're searching for is right here, right in your heart and in your soul. And so tapping into that is where you're going to find your peace. It's where you're going to find your happy place. And it doesn't matter if you're looking for it on the sunny beaches of California or, in Antarctica or wherever it is that you think you're going to find it. It's not there. It is this, it's here. It's right here, and it's a part of you. And if you think you need a partner to be happy, you got to come back to yourself. Yeah. If you think you need money to be happy, you got to come back to yourself. If you think you need to move to be happy, you've got to come back to yourself. These are all signs, right? Like, if you think you have to change something externally to find the internal peace, like, that's a sign. That's your red flag. Like, no. There's work to be done inside. Melissa, we're so glad you're here. And it's beautiful work. It is beautiful work. It's deep work. It's not easy, but it's amazing, and it's simple. Yeah. I always play with those words. I'm like, it's super simple. It's not easy. Yeah. Right. Right. Like, but that's what we supply is the tools to make it, accessible. And that's the thing, is that most people are like, okay, so that's fantastic. I love that idea, but how the hell do I even get started with that? Like, what are you even talking about? And that's, what we teach is the tools that get you to that place of understanding and clarity and ease and flow and all of those beautiful things that we all crave in our lives, especially, in this day and age where it's just so busy. So
Melissa, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love, Melissa says, this is what I've been working on in my own life. And this is what we talked about a little bit last week, this, like, collective consciousness, right? Yeah. Like, we're all sort of tapping into this. And the more we all connect together and talk about it, the more it seals it in for us all. Like, we have a retreat coming up Is it next weekend?
It's next
weekend.
So we have a week from today.
I know.
So exciting.
Yeah. We're pretty pumped. We got like our Mala kits in this morning and like we're ready to make magic happen. But right, like part of the power of that retreat, actually Melissa and I were at a gathering. Well, look, Melissa, my henna is almost completely faded.
I think you can see it on the camera.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
But that gathering in person with women, that getting on live together and going, yeah, I'm going through the same thing. These waves of like knowledge come through us all, and we can really seal them in and own them and lock them in tight if we, part of the that process is like talking about it with each other, going like, yes, I'm there too. Like this is simple, but it's also profound. And
to help me learn more about, because it's so profound, it's hard to understand it. And when we share our stories, we learn, more easily because I'm like understanding through your story.
So who can you get together with? Who can you be in a room, in a circle, in a conversation with, who's doing this work you're doing of like, what's in front of me that I'm not seeing? Like Jen and I just bounce off of each other. That's why we're growing the way we're growing, because we do this work together. And it is so powerful to have those people, whether it's a coach that you hire or a therapist or a friend or a whoever, like doing this work with other people is where it just,
the expansion.
So powerful.
So powerful.
All right.
Which is, I feel like why we're leaning more towards what we're about to engage in, with doing just a lot more retreats and a lot more local work, and really just being in person with people, you know.
If you're local, we do have one bed left in our retreat. It may or may not be yours. It may or may not be meant to stay empty. We're just rolling with it. Whatever happens, happens. But reach out if you want to be a part of that retreat next weekend. And then also we'll be planning a lot more of these. So reach out if you want to be on the wait list to know when the next retreat comes up, or the next local workshop, or the next in-person gathering, because that's about to take a big shift. All right.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
All right.
So good Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody.
As always, thanks for listening. If you learned something today that can help the people in your circle, please help us get the word out by sharing. When you leave us a rating and review on iTunes, it not only warms our hearts, but it helps people find us. We are eternally grateful for your support, and we're looking forward to connecting with you next week. Until then, you can find the show notes at www.connectedgrowthcoaching.com. You can grab your journal and then get your shui on.